If you could travel 4,900 feet beneath the surface, you'd feel it before you even saw it. The ocean gets heavier. The light thins out like a dying flame. Sound becomes distant, and the world you thought you knew quietly disappears. Up above, the sea is full of cute little creatures, bright colors, smooth shapes, friendly faces. But down here, those same families of animals start to look like they were redesigned by fear. Bodies stretch, eyes grow massive or vanish entirely. Limbs appear in places limbs should never exist. It doesn't feel like evolution carefully shaped them. It feels like something broke them. And among all the creatures that seem most violently altered by the deep are squids. Some become invisible, almost like ghosts. Some replace suckers with hooks. And the worst ones stop looking like animals and start looking like warnings. So why does the deep ocean do this? Why do creatures get creepier the deeper you go? And why are squids, more than almost anything else, so vulnerable to this transformation? To understand that, we need to understand where these squids live, because you don't accidentally meet the truly terrifying ones. They live in the parts of Earth that feel less like nature and more like a locked room. Most people's idea of a squid is something like this: a reef squid. This is the kind of squid your brain can accept. It looks normal. It swims with control. It belongs in the ocean you can imagine. This squid lives in the sunlit zone, the upper layer where light still reaches, where plants exist, where color exists, where the water still feels alive. And in that world, squids look like what they are: fast, clever predators. But then you descend, and the ocean changes personality. As you slip into the twilight zone, something strange happens. You can still see, barely, but the light is weak. It doesn't fill the water, it only touches it. And this is where the creepifying begins. You meet squids like the firefly squid, a creature that glows, not because it's beautiful, but because it has to be. Bioluminescence down here is not decoration, it's communication. It's bait, it's camouflage, it's survival. Then you see glass squids, so transparent they look unreal, like living reflections. And at first, they're not terrifying, just strange, unnatural, like something trying to erase itself. But deeper still, you meet the first squid that feels like the deep ocean stopped being weird and started being hostile. At the darkest end of the twilight zone lives the Humboldt squid. These aren't mythical. They're real, huge, powerful, aggressive. They're often called the red devils of the sea, and not just because of their color. It's their behavior. Most squids hunt alone. Humboldt squids hunt like a gang. They move in coordinated groups, flashing red and white patterns across their bodies mid-hunt like living signals. They don't just chase prey, they communicate while doing it. And then there's the detail that changes everything. Some Humboldt squids develop hooks, not just suction cups, hooks made for ripping. And unlike the earlier squids, these squids will hunt each other. They don't just live in a violent world, they participate in it. So are they a threat to humans? They can hurt you. Their hooks can tear skin. But humans aren't their preferred target. We're too big, too rare. They want shrimp, crab, fish, smaller squids. Still, just seeing one in open water would do something to your nervous system, because it's the first moment you realize the deeper you go, the ocean stops feeling like a habitat and starts feeling like a predator. But Humboldt squids aren't even the creepiest, because we still haven't entered the real darkness. Now you descend into the midnight zone. This is the point where sunlight is gone. Not dim, gone. No blue shimmer, no soft rays, only black water and pressure. And here, squids start to look like evolution isn't designing anymore. It's improvising, desperately. This is where you encounter something so unsettling it feels like a prank. A squid with what looks like human teeth. It's known from a single rare specimen. And the truth is, those aren't teeth. They're folded lips around the beak. But does that make it less creepy? Or worse? Because the real horror isn't the teeth. The horror is realizing the deep ocean has creatures so strange and rare we've barely met them. We don't see them because they don't want to be seen, and also because this place is almost impossible to explore. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, the midnight zone also gives us the most famous squid of all, the one that shaped nightmares before we even knew it existed. The giant squid, a creature so massive that even now we still argue about its full limits. We know it can reach incredible lengths. We know it has eyes larger than dinner plates, built to catch tiny scraps of light in endless blackness. And we know the one reason humans took it seriously, because sperm whales came back to the surface scarred. Long, circular marks, suction scars, evidence of battle. And inside whale stomachs, scientists found the one part of a squid that doesn't digest easily, the beak. That's how we learned giant squids weren't myths. They weren't folklore. They were prey big enough to fight back. And that tells you something terrifying. If a sperm whale, one of the ocean's most powerful hunters, has to dive into darkness and risk injury to catch this animal, then whatever the giant squid is, it isn't fragile. It's built for the deep. A huge mantle of muscle, 2 long tentacles lined with suckers and teeth-like structures, a solid beak capable of slicing prey. So are giant squids aggressive toward humans? Probably not, but mostly because humans almost never meet them where they live. Down there, they're ambush predators, waiting motionless in black water until something swims close enough to become a mistake. So why do they get so big? One explanation is energy. In cold, food-poor environments, larger bodies can be more efficient. They store more, they waste less, they travel farther with less cost. But here's the part that makes the giant squid truly unsettling. We still don't know their lives, how long they live, where they lay eggs, how many exist. Even after all our technology, their world is still mostly closed. And the deeper you go, the ignorance gets worse, because the midnight zone is only the beginning.